You still obviously do have a lot of love for West Ham, don't you? Despite the way you left and the way West Ham fans feel about you, they know how to hold a grudge, don't they? But do you feel a bit aggrieved by that and a bit sad, really?
Yeah, I do. And you're right. I mean, you're talking many years ago now. And it's funny, you can bump into West Ham fans, and I do very often when I go back down to Dagenham, and they always say to me, "Oh, I wasn't one of them who were booing you, but you did leave under a bit of a cloud." I said, "Well, listen. So the bottom line is, and I've explained the story time and time again. So I'm a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid. You know what I mean? I'm just about to sign for Manchester United. We're coming to the end of the season, and to be fair, I wasn't even sure I was going to go to Man United. I know there was a lot of talk about it, and the clubs were talking in X, Y, and Z. And John Lyall was still the manager at the time. God rest his soul. And then my agent at the time, Ambrose Mendy, said to me, "Paul, listen, you're going away to Malta on a holiday. Why don't we just take a picture in your Man United shirt? So then once it's done, you haven't got to come back and do all the stuff that you've got to do, photos and that." So I said, "Okay, fine." That was it. So I've gone on holiday, and then all of a sudden, it was put in a library of another paper. And the journalist there was Lawrence Lustig, who does the boxing. And he put that, one of them, whether it was him or someone else, put it in the paper before I'd even signed. So it wasn't actually my wrongdoing. I was just going by what my agent was saying, what the club, the deal was going to be done. It wasn't even meant for that paper. That was the worst thing about it. They just found it in the library. And you think, well, it was a stupid thing to do. Well, hang about it. I was only 19, 20. I've got an agent who tells me the deal was going to be done while you're away on holiday. So rather than you fly back to get the pictures in the paper, we'd just do it now. Obviously, the deal fell through. And then when I came back, I've got all this lot going on. But before that, they'd sacked John Lyall.
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy about that at all.
Was that when they just got relegated, West Ham, that season, hadn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought, that's not right,
Yeah.
And that kind of made me even more want to get away, to be honest. So then when I came back to Lou Macari, I said, "Listen, I'd agreed this contract with John Lyall. And is it okay because I want to get out where I live?" And he said, "Well, Paul, we need to see you first. There's a lot of money for someone so young." And I never got the contract. So it all compounded into the fact that picture, John Lyall going, not getting the contract. I mean, if Lou Macari said yes to that contract, I would have signed it. You know what I mean? So, and that was it. So anyway, as it went on, played a couple of games at Upton Park. Fans were kind of mixed at the time, because obviously he's a young player, but then it got to the stage where I went for a medical at Manchester United and I failed it. Jim McGregor said, "Paul, you've got something wrong with your groin." I said, "Well, go on." I said, "I've just played 2 years for West Ham, bogging pictures and every footballs and all that caper. And you're saying I've got something wrong with my groin." So that failed. So I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, I've got to go back to West Ham now. I ain't going to be happy, you know what I mean? I ain't going to be happy. So anyway, so I didn't play. And then Claire was upstairs, and then she started getting abused by the fans and all that stuff. And I thought, nah, this ain't right. So then my agent spoke to Alex Ferguson, told him the situation. And then Sir Alex then next minute turned up at some hotel in Waltham Abbey and said, "Paul, listen, I'm not putting you through all this stuff you're getting through at the moment. Not fussed about the medical. You're only young. Let's get it done." And that was that. And so when I kind of think about it, I'm gutted the way it went.
Yeah.
Because West Ham boy, you know what I mean? But am I responsible for how it went? I don't think I am.
Not at that age.
Not at that age, and you're governed by what your agent says, And the worst thing is, though, Bianca, is that even fans now who don't even know what went on,
yeah,
what happened in that situation, still look at me as if to say, "Well, nah, he's this, he's that." I said, "You wasn't even born when it happened. How do you know?" Do me a favour. I would have left West Ham anyway. Whether I would have left at the time, if John Lyall would have still been there, and the contract that he offered me to still be there, probably not, so maybe I was too young. But you know, as it panned out, you know, I went on to have a great career, so I'm not complaining. You know, I love my time at West Ham. You know, I've been playing with like Liam Brady. I played with Liam Brady and Trevor Brookingham, Billy Bonds, and all these people. You know, Warriors, great, Alan Devonshire. You know, unbelievable top players. So, you know, I would love to have more time playing with those players. You know, but you know, as it panned out well for me. But I keep telling the fans this is the reason, but fans don't want to hear the reason. They just want to say, "Oh, he's left," and that's the way he left that in that kind of way. And you know, but I do explain it, but I'm not going to explain it anymore. This is the last time, just because it's you.
This is the last time.
When I was a kid, and it's funny because you talk about players who could made it and what happened to them next, where are they now? And we had a team called Elmshire Colts and Ford Rovers, all right? And in that team, there was about 8 or 9 of us who used to go down to West Ham training ground. At the time, it was one of those where they were so demanding and so kind of aggressive with their instructions. You know, it was basically shouting at us, you know what I mean? If you want to do this, you want to play at West Ham, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And a lot of them couldn't take it. By the time we got to 15, I was the only one there. You know, and I was the only one there. And it was strange because probably 3 or 4 of them were better players than me.
But you didn't mind being shouted at?
I didn't mean to shout at. It's strange though, because
bigger picture.
Yeah, my bigger picture, because I looked at it and I thought, hang on a second, about, you know, my dad left when I was 2. You know, my mum left when I was 10. She had to go abroad to find work because at the time there was no work in England. You know, I've been pulled from pillar to post, whether with mate's house or aunts and uncles in Ilford or, you know, Dagenham. So to tolerate all that abuse I was getting, and some of it was racial, by the way. It wasn't just like, you know, some of it was racial. I took it, I dealt with it because I saw where I wanted to go with it. But a friend of mine who was, as I said, was better than me, was a bloke called Ashley. And I went to Dagenham. It must have been about 4 years ago. Went down to see my mates. And I'm driving up the road, just up towards Goodmay Station. And I'm driving and I'm thinking, I'm not going to see me right because I remember like Goodmay Station, used to have some fun there, you know what I mean? I just lived across the road in the Ashgrove Road, so it wasn't too far. And I saw this bloke and I thought, I'm sure I know him. But I thought, no, I can't know him. Look at the state of him. You know what I mean? I thought, no, I can't be him. And I thought, it is him. So I've gone up and I've turned back round and he's walked hobbling down the road. I pulled over. I went, Ashley? And he just looked at me and looked like he was just looking right through me. And I thought, wow, he had holes in his clothes, holes in his shoes. It looked like he was on some type of drug or whatever, you know what I mean? And I was got in the car and I said, it's me. It's Ince. Remember me, Paul? Ince, mate? And it probably took me about 5 minutes for him to recognise who I actually was.
Really?
You know, and I said, fucking hell, mate, what's happened to you? And he just said, you know, life's just gone downhill. I'm living in a bed sit, or, you know what I mean? I've got no money. And, you know, and he had a can of cider in his hand and I gave him 20 quid and he went, oh, thanks, see ya. And he walked off and I just thought, wow, this is someone who kind of hanged on to the last minute at West Ham when he was 14. You know, he was a better player than me. He could have been that person. He could have been me and a lot more. You know, and through making that decision where he couldn't deal with, you know, the shouting,
bullying,
the bullying more or less, you know what I mean? He kind of went that way, and I'm not sure what he did when he left school, X, Y, and Z. But you know, that's a pivotal moment in his life where I think, because I remember saying, listen, actually, don't worry, it's fine. I'm here now. We just do it together. We do it together. You know, but he couldn't. You know, for some reason he couldn't. I don't know whether that's just fate. I don't know, just decision making in life. But you know, that just shows me how lucky I am. And just due for the fact of bullying and that, he kind of decided not to do it. And this is what's, you know, that's where he is now. And it's such a sad story. That's why the thing that we're doing with Gary is so important, you know, because, you know, rejection's a horrible thing. You know, I think you saw, last month, a 16-year-old kid killed himself because he got rejected from You know, it's horrible, you know, and there are a lot of things that people don't see, and there's a lot of talented people in sport, you know, that kind of go by the wayside. There's no kind of relationship with the clubs, with the managers, and it's tough. It's tough, and they're all trying to go to games and pick up kids at 12, 13, 14. I remember watching Thomas playing for England under 17s. Honestly, Bianca, there must have been about 30 agents there.
Really?
Yeah, and just trying to, as players coming off the pitch or when I finished after got changed, just be chatting to them saying, "Oh, well done, great. You know, if you need to, here's my card." And I'm thinking it's such a sharp world, you know, and it's hard to trust agents. And listen, they've got a job to do, they've got a business to do, and a lot of agents now are just, some are changing, some are trying to look at the financial situation and invest in your money and not spending it all at once. Some, it's just, if there's a deal to be done, then I'm your agent. Apart from that, there's not. I don't go to watch the games. I don't know what's going on. And that's how it is at the moment. So with this situation with myself, Gary and Ray, I think it's one of those where it's an agency where you don't want nothing out the client. You know, it's not about earning money. You know, I'm comfortable. Gary's comfortable. We know that Ray's comfortable. So it's not something that, you know, we need to want to get something out of it. All we want to get out of it is to get people, sportsmen, younger kids, and let them grow. It's finding the ones who get rejected and think, well, this is not the end of the world. You know, we'll take you on board, because agents are agents. Once you're out of the club, they don't want to know you. They push you to the side. Let's move on to the next bit of meat. Okay, this is not what we want to do. You know, we need to kind of ascertain the ones that we want. It has to be elite. It's no point having 400 bloody kids in it, you know what I mean? It has to be elite. But they have to be elite talent who can't financially be rejected from this place and that place, and we see something different in them. And it's a great cause. It's something different. I've always known Gary, you know, and it's funny though, because it's only the last probably 4 or 5 years that we've kind of got in touch. Obviously, I know he's big into his horses. I like my horses. And that way we kind of got in touch and then started talking, and then we, you know, it just went on from there to there, and we've always been in contact the last 4 or 5 years. And when he fully set me, you know, about 6 months ago, you know, it appealed to me, you know, and you know, he's a hard-working man. He's done well in life. You know, he's worked hard to get where he's got to today, and
he wants to give back.
And he wants to give back, and you can't. And you know, I want to give back. Ray wants to give back. There's not many people who want to give back, is there?
No.
So take world at the moment, but we can give something back to these young kids and just see them spread their wings. But it's just the kind of experience of just having that, bringing these people through and seeing where they get to at the end of the road, and hopefully they won't turn up like Ashley.